I mean, I was following the discussions yesterday and people trying to attribute some reasoning whatsoever to it. I don't think it's justified under any circumstances. People should feel free to express their mind. If they go wrong, there are legal means to address that, and it should not be attacks, threats on their life. I think our situation in Ghana is dire because it looks like we were making so much progress. I mean, those of us who are watchers from outside the media space thought we were making a lot of progress, and then all of a sudden it looks like we are kind of losing all the gains we've made. I feel it's sad.
I'm more interested in the question that you raised about is democracy under attack, especially because we all know the popular saying that media is the fourth pillar of democracy, and so therefore does that mean that government is attacking an aspect of itself? Does it understand it that way, that in attacking media you're actually attacking yourself? I don't think we're there yet. And I feel if Media Foundation for West Africa is going to say anything about this, they might probably indicate that this has been going on. There are periods in time where it peaks and then it drops, but I feel like it's always going on somehow. So...
You know, the interesting thing, I was looking again at data from the Media Foundation, and you look at it, so if you look at from 2015, we did about 10 incidents, then it went up to almost 16 in 2016, went up to actually hit the 16 in 2017, then we did 18 in 2018, then in 2019 we did about 19.
keeps escalating.
It keeps escalating. The first quarter of 2020, that's all the data is. That's quite low, So, and the interesting thing is also that when you look into the data, in terms of the people who are doing the beating, it is almost everybody, and the two political parties are all to be blamed. If you look at the 2081, very interesting, split almost evenly among the NDC and the MPP. Then you also have the security forces. Everything. Yes, exactly, and the security forces also are part of it. You also have even some pastors, in there and all of that. And people go to courts, journalists go to cover, and they are beating. So we really need to look at. And for me, I think the core of all of this is that for us in Ghana, when issues happen to people, when there's a flood, when his baby is lost, they don't call the police, they don't call the state apparatus. It is the media we all call. So we all need to protect this, because tomorrow, if the system is against you, if people are against you, if you attack the media, then there'll be nowhere else to run to. And it's important. But I think we should also state as a fact. I mean, I'm happy that at least you had a Minister for Information come out, against this, because we need the states to start talking boldly against some of these things, and then working at it with all of us to ensure that this thing ends. Because in terms of the beating, it's not only just the state actors. It is also other individuals. And if we don't talk about it, it emboldens them, to be able to. And I think we should also mention Joy FM. And I think that's one of the things that has been my multimedia, is my problem with publishers. Most of the time, they leave their people to their fate. But at least we've seen multimedia go to court, and at least on the Haja Fatih's case, we want some, semblance of victory, And
we want a few others as well.
Exactly. And then we've seen you've written on these 4 of your colleagues who have also been threatened. I think that's a good one. My challenge is that I've heard Efia Pokuya also complain, but I've not seen the Despite group step up. And I think it's really, really important.
And I have a little challenge with government's response. I think the rest of us can advocate, but government must take action. I am not happy, with my good friend coming out, Kojo Openkuma making a statement. That's good, but I think that the onus lies on government to take action. If government comes out to also make statement like anybody else, then who is going to take the action? You see, the media...
Who are they calling on, right?
Who are they calling on?
The police.
The
police. He was calling on the. And you see, it's not the Minister of Information who would act. I remember a post on my Facebook wall. Somebody asked, is he now directing the police? But the police has to act. Take the Latif issue, for example. How can the police be telling us that are the police headquarters, that after so many years, they've not been able to find it.
You know, and when something happens to a police officer,
You know how they quickly...
within,
Yeah.
you know, it happens to another person within a short while, they can come up. But how come if it happens to
To
the
a
media
journalist.
and ordinary people, it takes forever and nothing happens?
Even
So
an
I
MP,
think, yes.
it's taking forever to deal with
you know,
JB's issue.
So I think action must
Sam
come.
George was slapped, wasn't
Yes.
he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
You
haven't
know.
seen any
Nothing.
prosecutions come out of that.
And I think that's what emboldens people to continue with this kind of attitude. Yeah.
You know, the statistics are dire. You're right about that. Even in this international story we've been discussing. So it turns out that this year, 84% of journalists killed this year were deliberately targeted. Okay. Last year it was 63%. So you know this trend.
Yeah.
Seems to be
I
going
mean,
up.
clearly trending in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And you have to ask yourself, because a lot of these attacks were also not by state, you know, but by individuals. And you know that in addition to the physical attacks, there are also the verbal attacks.
Exactly.
It appears as if the role of the journalist has somehow shifted in the minds of the public. They now see some journalists to be part of the problem. You know, and I mean, let's be fair with ourselves as a, you know, as a sector and institution. We're not all great. We're not
True.
all, you know, doing amazing jobs. Some journalists are not good,
Yes.
like you would find in any profession.
Profession,
yeah.
Yes.
But the importance of the role of the journalist is something that I worry is being diluted by perhaps people's views of individual, you know, journalists. And you can't really take a view
But
of
could you-
someone because they disagree with you. Or
But could
they
you
say
see, the
something
thing
you
is,
agree
Dr.
with.
Bell, nobody's gone to his hospital to beat him up because any surgery has gone wrong.
I mean, that's never happened.
You see, nobody goes to an engineer's like me, you know, come to me and say you did a design and the lights are going bad.
So
You know,
I'm coming to beat you.
you see, so I think it's important that we put that in perspective. That the only job that you go to work and you are beating for doing your work. And when you come to Ghana, you realize the fact that a lot of the people who are beating are not the irresponsible ones. Go back into history and look at it from Tommy Thompson's date, from Cabral, from Kweku Bako. Were they doing irresponsible journalism before they were beating? But I completely hear that says that we need to also stop and look at ourselves. And it's important. A lot of our journalists these days, you know, we confuse editorializing for stating the facts. And sometimes there's been tyranny of also the media. But I'm also very quick when we're discussing the issue of media safety to take out the whole issue of responsibility. Because if you're not too careful, what then the people do is that they use that as a justification for saying that let's go after them. So yes, definitely let's go out and make sure we preach the whole thing of the responsible media. And Ghana, when you start talking about responsible media, it goes beyond just the media practitioners. The people who own media. One of the major challenges we have is politicians owning media and using it to do other
For
things
their
but
own
media.
purposes.
And those are the things that we really need to start looking at. But definitely Parliament is not going to change that law because they are the people who are benefiting from that.
beneficiaries.
But it's really very important that we look at the people. There are a lot of charlatans who are parading themselves as publishers and as, you know, managers of media who really just want it for other things. So that's why
But you see, it's not surprising, because if you really want to take control of any society, control the media, and you have the society. So you realize that any politician who gets power, the next thing is, how do I control the media? So either they set up media enterprises themselves, bring up printing presses, set up radio stations, so they can control and influence the
Or
population.
they try to corrupt the
The existing
media.
ones, you know. So, but my point is that irrespective of the practice, irrespective of professionalism or whatever, there is no justification
At all.
for attacks.
at all.
You know,
We can weed out the charlatans, we can weed out those who are, I mean, we have a choice. And that's what I say. If I decide this morning to tune into a radio station, there are thousands. So I flip. If I don't like what you are doing, I just go to another place. Why should I come and attack you?
In all that we've been saying for the past few minutes, I've just been hoping that we can also channel the conversation towards the solutions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, all the submissions it makes me feel like it's a never-ending loop, and the only people who can make a difference is the government, and yet the government is actually just standing back and playing victim, saying, we have to get the police to do something. We have to get the journalists or the media houses to try and approach it from this angle. But at the end of the day, for me, the question still is, so who starts the process of making it all okay? And where do we start from? Because I think that we're in a country where if you speak factually or you speak the truth, you always get attacked. Everything is now political. People survive on politics, purely that. So I think if we even begin going beyond the media attacks, we will find that a lot of individuals in all sorts of workspaces, whether it's medicine, whether it's nursing, whether it's teaching, anywhere at all, they will also be attacked. And I feel like because the media houses are sensitive to us, we are highlighting that more and more. But I think that the minute we start going down and developing that criteria to say that if anybody attacks or cyberbullies or goes at someone for speaking their truth, these consequences must apply. If we start going down that route, I think we will begin to create some structure out of all the
my
mess.
father is a scientist, and he often says this thing that the solution is almost always in the problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the problem with a lot of this is personal interest, isn't it?
Yes.
Like all of our problems in society. So everybody is pursuing a personal interest, and they are willing to go to extremes to get it.
Yeah.
So perhaps that's where we start for the solution. Can we make it in everyone's personal interest to protect the journalist? Can we make it a bit more clear that actually everything a journalist does benefits you, the public, whether you agree with what they're saying or not? How else are you going to know what's going on? Who else is going to have eyes and ears everywhere to give you the information that you can then agree or disagree with? Perhaps that could be the starting point.
And let's define who a journalist is. Because some people on radio really, they are journalists in quotes, but really,
Are they
the
journalists?
kind of
Are they?
things they churn out.
Yes.
But I think that goes into the realm of self-regulation. And I, like every other profession, I think if we go into that dimension, then the association must self-regulate and enforce standards. I mean, I'm a medical practitioner. If I misconduct myself in the line of my duty, my regulator is there. My association have punitive actions that will take against me. So all of us are supposed to be whipped in line to behave in a certain set standard that we expect. That if you say somebody's a medical doctor, the person is expected to behave.
Yeah.
So the media can do some introspection and do that. But I still maintain that while we look at all of that, what must be condemned is that no journalist and
Should
no
be
human
attacked,
being
yeah.
should be attacked just for doing what they are supposed to be doing.
Now, the thing about the verbal attacks, like on social media,
Yes,
Manasseh writes an article and then people go and insult him.
It's not only that. I don't know whether you've seen what Umar Sanda, had to suffer. I've seen some of the things that Ifeanyi Pokuya, had to suffer as well. And and they are not just. They actually, there are people calling people that they'll die in two weeks. The people, and you see, once they do that, these verbals, the tendency for them to move from verbal to physical really is there, because you also have people on the lunatic fringe who will take these things. So when you see people who are supposed to know also get involved in these cyber attacks, it really, says that we need to stop at some point. So as I hear all of this when it comes to solutions, law enforcement really is also very critical. It's one of the things that we just have to say that this is a crime and it has to be dealt with. And we should the police should be seen to be taking active, efforts to make sure that happens. I think the efforts being made by the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Information, with the NMC to be able to put together that system that looks at that, we need to quickly do it as quickly as possible, and it has to involve everybody. So that I understand now it's with the NMC. I pray that the NMC will be able to move quick with this, and so that we can have a system in place that when these things happen quickly, we know we move to protect the people, we validate whatever claims that have come up with, and then the police are also involved and they take take action. And I think that's for me is the challenge that faces us. But it's important that, and I'm happy we are hearing people from other places. We all need to really speak up about this thing. Our chiefs need to talk. The churches. Everybody needs to realize that this. When it comes to the freedom, the media just holds it, on account for all of us,
yes.
And so once that is being attacked, it's all of us, really, really being attacked. And the media definitely also have a role to play. These things, when it happens, they will go and collect some money somewhere and then let the cases go. The infamous one that happened in Kumasi, it's an example, to talk about. Then also is that, you see, and I've been saying to GJ that it's about time that even do you know all Ghanaians who have died, who have been attacked, in doing their jobs? There's no place you find that. There should be a role of all the victims and all the villains. So we name everybody. And then also we actually take steps to ensure that for journalists, another thing that I've been saying to most media people, you see an attack happen somewhere, but the name of the game is evident. And you find out that the rest of the journalists who even have cameras and all of that did not capture anything. So those are things, the ways in which we need to train. So there's a lot of training that has to happen to all of us as journalists. And this whole thing where we have all allowed, all newsroom, a lot of newsroom be divided, NDC and PP, so depending on who is saying it, others will not support it, also has to stop, so that we all realize that it is in our interest first and foremost to ensure that we're protecting, So this time I'm hoping that we will just not talk over this Christmas period and stop, but we'll see some action from the NMC, we'll see some action from GJA, West African Media Foundation, and from all of you journalists, media houses, and then and I speak to my colleagues who publish and manage media houses. You need to be a lot more responsible. You need to ensure that you're equipping your people with the necessary, skill sets that let them protect themselves first, because it's not martyrdom. Journalism is not martyrdom. Protect themselves. Make sure that you have some insurance packages for them. And we also call on the lawyers. Take on pro bono cases so that when these things are happening. The example is the issue of Pius Asiedu, for example. We spoke to one of my friends, Lawyer Pukweje. Currently, he sits in court on watching brief anytime that case goes to court, so that the judge, the prosecutors, they all know that there's a lawyer there on behalf of Pius looking at that. We need a lot more of lawyers wanting to support causes like that so that we can make progress.
Absolutely. This is not insurmountable. In fact, we don't have a choice. We have to fix, of all problems, this one, so that our democracy is protected.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got lots more to talk about with Dr. Bayo, with Golda, with Ken, and in fact, we're expecting even more of our friends to join us for this big conversation about the biggest stories of the year. That's all to come, but in our Christmas tradition, we're saying a big thank you to those who bring us the BBC News, although we are not bringing the BBC News for the benefit of our conversation to flow. We're going to take a quick break, though. When we come back, we'll find out which story in particular this year meant the most or had the biggest impact on our panel. The online review is brought to you every morning by Zenith Bank, in your best interest, and Goil Good Energy. Goil continues to spread good energy thanks to the convenience that they put at your fingertips with the GH Link card. You can now use it to pay for all lubricants and fuel from any of Goil's over 400 stations across the country, which means all your purchases will just be on your monthly statement and you can track and manage your expenses even better. So go cashless, protect yourself, and stick to all the COVID-19 protocols in these times. Goil Good Energy, Goil Yenara Yenze. Now, are you enjoying the festive season? Well, if you are, please don't forget to use your Zenith Visa card, the GH Dual card and the MasterCard for quick and easy payments and cash withdrawals. For easy banking, dial *966# to carry out all your banking transactions anytime and anywhere. We wish you a joyous and festive season. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. So Vodafone fixed broadband is just too much. I've got this at home, and I've got to say I will testify to their amazing service. Plus now you can get on the fixed broadband Too Much Family Christmas promotion and get up to 200% bonus data, unlimited voice calls, and so much more. The Too Much Family Christmas promo gets even better with many smart home devices and entertainment content on offer. Get security cameras, Android TV box, Google Home, sleek cordless home phones, and more at unbelievable prices with tons of unlimited freebies. This Vodafone promo is just too much. Okay, so you add an extra 100 Ghana cedis to your monthly fiber broadband subscription, and you get 200% bonus data, as well as unlimited voice calls from your home phone and access to the exciting Showmax content, so that you can connect, browse, and chill with your family throughout Christmas. Dial *900# or go to fbb.vodafone.com.gh or any of their retail shops to subscribe. The promo runs till the 31st of December 2020. Terms and conditions apply. Ready? Okay, so quick break. We'll be back. It's the Super Morning Show.
Yes, we're here again. Compute Ghana is back again with super deals on our products. It's the cashback promotion. Enjoy up to 40% discount on all our products, be it appliances